Freak shows were much more popular 50 years ago than they are today. In fact, they are now completely illegal in some states. Freak shows were common at state fairs, carnivals, and circus sideshows. Curtains would be tightly drawn around the various three-headed lady or alligator boy tents. Curious customers wondered what was inside and perhaps even forked over some cash to take a peek. More often than not, the customers would be heartily disappointed because most of these shows were scams. Most, but not all. Here are the 15 most bizarre acts ever seen in freak shows that will make you rethink what you know about these controversial displays. Number 15. The Fiji Mermaid. In the 1800s, P.T. Barnum had a knack for turning absurdity into profit, and the Fiji Mermaid was one of his most infamous concoctions. Unlike the elegant creatures of lore, this mermaid was a grotesque hybrid, half fish, half monkey, crudely stitched together to shock and amaze carnival goers. Barnum acquired the fake mermaid, likely crafted in Asia, and spun it into a macabre masterpiece. The process involved fusing a fishtail with the upper body of a monkey, adding papier-mâché and a dash of fur for good measure. Barnum's marketing genius ensured that crowds couldn't resist paying for a glimpse of the strange creation. In one clever move, he even let people see it for free in his museum, driving overall ticket sales through the roof. While it was all an elaborate hoax, the Fiji Mermaid perfectly captured the spirit of the era's sideshows, blurring reality and fiction. Even now, it remains one of history's strangest examples of bizarre entertainment. Number 14. Pickled punks. Pickled punks is a macabre term for one of the most morbid attractions in sideshow history. Unborn or stillborn fetuses preserved in jars of formaldehyde. This grisly practice began in the 1600s, reportedly initiated by King Frederick III of Denmark, who amassed a collection of preserved specimens for his curiosity cabinet. The term later gained notoriety in sideshows, where these jars became a popular, albeit controversial, display. One famous collection belonged to Italian naturalist Ulisse Aldrovandi, who preserved over 18,000 specimens. Sideshow curators showcased these jars as scientific oddities, often sensationalizing them with fictional backstories to draw crowds. While some viewed the displays as grotesque exploitation, others saw them as eerie reminders of medical history and human fragility. Today, the legacy of pickled punks serves as a chilling chapter in the history of both sideshows and scientific curiosity. Number 13. Chelsea Charms. Chelsea Charms, a Las Vegas performer, has redefined the spectacle of modern sideshows with what she claims are the largest natural breasts in recorded history. Her jaw-dropping 153XXX size figure has catapulted her from sideshow circuits to headlining stages in clubs worldwide. Known for her electrifying performances, Chelsea has transformed her unique appearance into a lucrative career, drawing both shock and admiration. While skeptics question whether her measurements are entirely natural, Chelsea has consistently denied undergoing any form of augmentation. Regardless of the origins, her figure has sparked endless fascination, with audiences marveling at the extremes of human anatomy. Her story reflects the enduring allure of the extraordinary and the ways in which physical uniqueness can be a source of both fame and empowerment. Chelsea Charms remains a modern-day icon of sideshow culture, captivating audiences with a spectacle that pushes the boundaries of what many consider possible. Number 12. The Hottentot Venus. Saartjie Sarah. Bartman, known by her stage name, the Hottentot Venus, was one of the most infamous sideshow attractions of the 18th century. Her features, exaggerated by European standards, fueled a fascination with African natives that blurred the lines between science, lust, and cruel curiosity. Crowds flocked to see her, treating her as an exotic specimen rather than a human being. During this era, People from Africa, Asia, and the Americas were often brought to Europe under false pretenses, promised fame and fortune, only to be exploited as sideshow freaks. Sarah, a Khoikhoi woman, was no exception. Her unique physicality was commodified, and she was paraded around under titles like the African Goddess of Love. Promises of wealth never materialized, and Sarah endured unimaginable degradation, at one point even being caged like an animal. Decades later, her tragic legacy persisted. After dying in France at just 25, her remains were displayed for over a century. In 2002, Mandela secured her return to her homeland, where she was finally laid to rest with dignity on Women's Day, near her birthplace. Number 11. General Tom Thumb. Before fake mermaids and stitched-together oddities, P.T. Barnum's career was built on real human performers, like his fifth cousin, Charles Stratton, who became famous as General Tom Thumb. Born with a rare growth condition, Charles had hardly grown since infancy. Barnum saw an opportunity and convinced Charles's parents to let him join the circus. At just 4 years old, Charles was trained to sing, dance, and impersonate famous figures. Under Barnum's guidance, he became a sensation, touring across the United States and even performing for European royalty. Audiences were enchanted by his charm and skill, but behind the scenes, his condition and childhood were exploited for profit. Despite the troubling nature of his career's beginnings, Charles eventually found fame and fortune, living a life far beyond what his circumstances might have predicted. General Thumb's story is a blend of talent, resilience, and the harsh realities of being turned into a spectacle. Number 10. The Black Scorpion. Performing under the names the Black Scorpion or Lobster Boy, this unique sideshow entertainer is a celebrated figure in the world of freak shows. With claw-like hands due to a rare condition, he has redefined what it means to be a sideshow performer, turning his platform into a positive force. Rather than leaning into the exploitative history of the industry, the Black Scorpion uses his act to shed light on the artistic and empowering aspects of sideshow entertainment. In 2008, he joined the famous Sideshows by the Seashore exhibit at Coney Island, gaining widespread attention. His act was also featured on TLC's show Taboo, where he highlighted how embracing one's differences can inspire others. With his unique talents, the Black Scorpion has not only entertained audiences, but has also transformed the perception of sideshow performers, showing that their art can be uplifting rather than degrading, a testament to resilience and creativity. Number 9. The Jones Twins. The story of the Jones twins, Siamese twins who toured as a sideshow act in the late 1800s, serves as a somber reminder of the humanity behind these attractions. Born conjoined and unable to pursue traditional careers due to their condition, they were introduced to the sideshow circuit as infants. Tragically, the twins, just 15 months old at the time of their deaths, had spent much of their brief lives as a public spectacle. Their cause of death remains unknown, but their story highlights the challenges faced by individuals in such circumstances. They were seen more as curiosities than as human beings, and their passing serves as a critique of the harsh realities behind the allure of sideshow culture. The Jones twins remind us of the need for empathy and respect for those whose lives are marked by extraordinary physical conditions, even in an era when spectacle often eclipsed compassion. Number 8. Mr. Frank Lentini. Frank Lentini, born in 1889 in Sicily, became one of the most successful sideshow performers of all time. Known as the three-legged man, Lentini's condition, an additional leg extending from his pelvis, was rare enough to draw crowds. But what truly astonished audiences was his claim of having 2 fully functional sets of genitalia, a peculiarity that added an extra layer of intrigue to his act. Despite his condition, Lentini lived a remarkably full life. He married Teresa Murray, with whom he had 4 children. Lentini's charm and humor turned him into a beloved entertainer, and he used his platform to inspire others with physical differences. One of his famous quips, delivered with a grin, was, "I have 3 legs, but I can't find enough socks." Lentini's legacy is one of resilience and grace, proving that even in a world eager for spectacle, dignity and humor can shine through. Number 7. Lazarus Colorado and Johannes Baptista Colorado. Lazarus and Johannes Baptista Colorado, conjoined twins born in Genoa, Italy in the 1600s, were among the earliest documented performers in what would later be called freak shows. Their condition was unique. Johannes Baptista was an underdeveloped parasitic twin protruding from Lazarus's chest. While Lazarus was fully functional and led the act, Johannes Baptista could not speak or act independently, but was reportedly capable of limited movement when prodded. The twins toured Europe, drawing large crowds curious to witness their anomaly. Their mere presence on stage, standing or walking, was enough to fascinate audiences and cement their reputation. Despite their unusual condition, the Colorado twins reportedly earned a comfortable living through their exhibitions, which paved the way for future sideshow performers. Their story highlights the public fascination with physical anomalies and the way such individuals turned societal curiosity into a means of survival in a world that often marginalized them. Now, let's move to number 6. Sword swallowers who swallow more than just swords. Sword swallowing has a history that dates back to the 1st century AD, evolving from ancient Greece and Rome to India and Japan before becoming a circus staple. Modern masters like Dan Meyer and Shane Hultgren, the Space Cowboy, have elevated the craft, earning Guinness World Records and pushing the boundaries of possibility. Early 20th century sword swallowers stunned audiences by performing alongside legends like Harry Houdini, swallowing multiple blades, or adding daring twists like fiery swords, knives, or even live snakes. European crowds marveled at the technique, while American sideshows introduced dramatic innovations to keep audiences on edge. This ancient art is as dangerous as it is mesmerizing. Injuries range from minor cuts to life-threatening complications like esophageal perforations. Since 1880, 29 recorded deaths highlight the risks of the act. Despite its hazards, sword swallowing continues to draw gasps, blending history, skill, and sheer bravery into one unforgettable performance. Number 5. Animal trainers who tamed wild beasts. For centuries, animal tamers have captivated audiences by commanding the raw power of wild beasts in the circus ring. The sight of a man standing face-to-face with lions, tigers, or elephants was enough to evoke both awe and fear. Iconic performers like Clyde Beatty, one of the most renowned tamers of the 1920s, became legends by showcasing their mastery over dangerous predators. Armed with nothing more than a whip, chair, and pistol, Beatty balanced on the edge of peril in every performance. But behind the spectacle lay a darker reality. These majestic animals often endured harsh conditions, were confined to small cages, and subjected to cruel training methods to suppress their natural instincts. Their frustration frequently boiled over, creating moments of intense danger for both the trainer and the crowd. Thankfully, public outcry and evolving laws have led to the decline of such exploitative acts. Modern circuses now focus on human feats of acrobatics, leaving wild animals where they belong, in the wild. Number 4. Human zoos. Few chapters in history are as unsettling as the existence of human zoos. Yes, humans, particularly indigenous peoples and Africans, were once placed on display for public amusement, their lives reduced to grotesque spectacles. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, it was disturbingly common for these individuals to be confined in cages or staged villages, dressed in their cultural attire as if it were a costume, while curious crowds gawked at them. One of the most heart-wrenching stories is that of Ota Benga, a Congolese man who, in 1906, was exhibited at the Bronx Zoo in a primate enclosure. Labeled the missing link, he was forced to live among chimpanzees while visitors mocked him. This harrowing example of institutionalized racism highlights the horrifying dehumanization of that era. It was not bizarre, but totally inhumane. Number 3. Explosive human cannonballs. Few circus acts are as thrilling, or downright daring, as the human cannonball. Picture this: being launched from a massive cannon, soaring through the air, and landing, hopefully, safely in a net or water. For some performers, that wasn't enough. They added trapeze stunts, transforming this heart-stopping act into a breathtaking aerial display. Surprisingly, no real explosives were involved in the launch. Instead, the cannon functioned as a spring-loaded mechanism, with compressed springs or rubber propelling the performer skyward. For dramatic flair, gunpowder or fireworks were used for the signature boom effect. The first human cannonball, Rosa Matilda Richter, or Zazel, was only 14 when she made history in the 1870s. Propelled from a cannon designed by William Leonard Hunt, she captivated audiences until a tragic back injury ended her career. Despite its risks, this wild act continues to amaze, proving that the circus has always been a place where daring defies gravity and reason. Number 2. Knife throwers and their spinning targets. Knife throwing wasn't just a circus act, it was a test of precision, nerves, and trust. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, knife throwers took their craft to extremes, swapping wooden targets for living, breathing assistants. If that wasn't dangerous enough, they introduced the Wheel of Death, a spinning platform where assistants were strapped, sometimes blindfolded, as blades were hurled with terrifying accuracy. This act reached its peak in the 1930s with the Ringling Brothers Circus, captivating audiences with its mix of danger and skill. Knife throwers used perfectly balanced blades designed to stick effortlessly into the target, and, hopefully, nowhere else. While seasoned performers rarely missed, amateurs often met with disaster, transforming an act of elegance into one of horror. Knife throwing remains one of the most nerve-wracking circus performances, a fine line between thrilling entertainment and genuine danger that keeps audiences holding their breath. Number 1. The Elephant Man. Joseph Merrick, famously known as the Elephant Man, became one of the most tragic and memorable figures in the history of sideshows. Born in 1862 in Leicester, England, Merrick suffered from a severe congenital disorder, likely a combination of Proteus syndrome and neurofibromatosis, that caused extreme deformities across his body. His condition left him unrecognizable, with large growths, thickened skin, and a distorted face. Despite having functional arms and legs, his appearance isolated him from society. Merrick's journey into the sideshow world began as a means of survival. As a young man, he joined traveling exhibitions, showcasing his disfigurement to earn a living. Behind the spectacle, however, was a kind and articulate individual who longed for dignity and companionship. He eventually found refuge in London's Royal London Hospital, where Dr. Frederick Trevis provided him with care and friendship. Merrick passed away at the age of 27, but his story remains a powerful reminder of humanity's capacity for empathy and resilience. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon in the next one.